Liz Cheney continues to impress me. Liz Cheney continues to do what very few Republicans and conservatives are willing to do. She calls out the evil man. She calls out Donald Trump for the evil he represents and the danger that he would become if somehow he was to be elected again. He cannot win an election again except with voter fraud. So let's go ahead and listen to what our new friend has to say, and then we'll take it on the other side.
We are very focused at the Select Committee on a whole range of potential legislative proposals. I think it's very important, though, for the American people to recognize and understand what we know and what the former president himself is saying about his intentions, what his intentions clearly were a year ago on January 6th, and what he would do again if he ever got anywhere close to power. And that just simply can't be who we are as Americans. It can't be who we are as Republicans.
Liz Cheney has invoked the language of recidivism, and it seems to have sort of two purposes. One, to see if there are more than just one wing person for her in the Republican Party, if she can awake any other Republicans from their stupor, to understand that this is a clear and present danger for 2024, not just about looking back, and to gird perhaps some of her fellow committee members on the other side of the aisle for what could become some pretty tough political fights in the months ahead.
I think that what Liz Cheney sees above all else is that this is an ongoing, unfolding plot and conspiracy against democracy in the United States of America, and that what we have seen from the Republican Party, from its leadership, is profound cowardice in facing it. There's no mystery about how everybody's going to line up in elected office in Washington, D.C. I think the arguments that Liz Cheney is making, the arguments that she's making, come from the perspective of an impeccable conservative who is communicating that being an impeccable conservative and being pro-democracy are not antithetical virtues. And so we're at a moment of crisis. She has been one of the loudest, most consistent voices talking about the threat the country faces. But at this point, even the most naive amongst us can't be unclear about the stated intentions of Donald Trump and all of those who support him or in league with him or hope to replace him someday with regard to their faithfulness to the idea of American democracy, to American pluralism, and to the notion that we should all be equal under the law.
I love it. Did he get it right or what? And, you know, they really hit Republicans and conservatives hard for not only their hypocrisy, but also for their lack of patriotism. To be a supporter of Donald Trump right now means that you support insurrection, means that you support treason, means that you support everything that the Constitution you supposedly support. You are ready to go against it. And for Mr. Hayes, who talks about turning things around, let's remind you of something. Donald Trump went to filed over 80 suits during the election or after the election. They went to Democratic judges. They went to Republican judges appointed by many other presidents, including Republican judges appointed by Donald Trump. His last failure even went to the Supreme Court, where he appointed 3 of the judges. And he has lost every single attempt to say the election was stolen or there was any sort of hanky-panky, any kind of fraud in the election. But let's get a little bit deeper. We did find fraud in the election. But for every time that we found somebody, and it's very few, tiny bit, that doesn't even make it doesn't matter either way. Every single one that we found was somebody trying to vote several times for Donald Trump. So you see, it's whenever you're pointing your finger, they're looking back at you. Donald Trump is likely the most evil president we've ever had. But it's not only that he was an evil president, but that he had he has somehow, with some sort of a mind game that he was able to pull for the weak-minded, he was somehow able to convince many that he could actually be a president. And that he has done that is the biggest hurt on this country. That he got over 70 million Americans to give up on their values to vote for such a piece of evil speaks more about one's mental capacity to be gullible than anything else. But you know what? It's passing. I've started to notice it's passing. I've started to notice it's passing. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.